so much for being with us. And we are going to ask you a few questions. So my first question would be, what does investing in women mean to you? And why do you think it's important? Thank you. Thank you for that question. I mean, it's a very important question. For me, investing in women is really about ensuring that we treat them as equals. We all know it's not the case. And how can we do that? I think it starts from our families. We have to invest in young girls and ensure that they are treated fairly in families. So that doesn't happen. And sometimes it's not very good, sometimes it's very sad. And so I think that is super important for them to feel that they are an important and a critical contributor to our societies. And when they have that feeling, they step out in the world of work and academics with confidence. And we have to just make sure, and when I say we, it's also women and other stakeholders who are around them, that they are moving forward with confidence, with the respect they deserve for their competency and capability. And so this is the way we need to invest in women. I don't think it's only a financial investment, but often it is also financial investment, and I like to do that to families. Families need to ensure that they spend as much in educating their daughters and as much as institutions also must invest in women so that there is equity at the workplace. And I also want to say that it's important that capital providers also have the confidence and respect the competency of women so that they can provide them funding for startups, etc., which is an important area in our generation where there's so many entrepreneurs. I don't see enough capital providers for great entrepreneurship. Okay, so ma'am, the next question to me. And my question is, what does equal pay for equal work mean to you? And how do that incorporate this today? Thank you for that question. That is again a very important question. You guys are five winners, more than important questions which are so critical for us to have an inclusive environment at work. So for me, I think an inclusive workplace where you have equal pay for equal work is the baseline, is the base case, and that starts from the commitment which comes from leaders. And so at Renew, we are all deeply committed to ensuring that we are a workplace where we have policies which ensure that we are providing equal opportunities based on merit to women. And we have audits which can validate that effort as well. So it's really about putting a policy framework in place, an audit, reporting, monitoring framework in place so that things are actually getting done and we're not just talking about it. I think there's a lot of talk about what we must do. I think it's really very critical these things. So I feel really good about this. But having said that, am I super happy with what we're doing? No, there's a lot more we must do. But we have a good team which is at it. And we have young women and men, I think, who are very supportive and are walking with confident strides and supportive strides so that we can make Renew a better place for young women and most importantly, also senior women. That also is a problem in the sense that we don't have enough senior women at Renew and otherwise, but I'm optimistic that with our initiative, we'll be able to.
So, family equally, and you mentioned new opportunities. Like us, I would ask what is it can be at work, and that's objective that I like the Steve pictures and those things for equal opportunities and leadership position. That's your big one.
Thank you. That's again a great question. See, equity is all about the fact that the professional work space has been around for a long time, but women have not been there in full force as men. So now, as they jump in, obviously it's quite clear that men are ahead in many ways. They have the important positions, there are more men in boardrooms, there are more men in leadership positions. So we must do a little bit extra to ensure that women get well entrenched in the workplace, and that it is well understood by the male counterparts that what does this mean? What is it that they must do? And as I said earlier, we must have enabling policies which encourage women a little bit more, because we all know that when women get involved and when women get to work, they be in business. Because otherwise, from where we are coming, there are a lot of responsibilities of women right now at home, the larger societal sort of ecosystem for them and at work. So I also feel that unless we have these roles, unless we reflect on these roles, and unless we have men stepping up a little bit more in areas other than work, women will never be able to immerse themselves as is required in the workplace. The other point I want to mention is that it's a fact that there is a certain, I would say, there's a certain journey of a woman in a woman's life, right? So one is you get into the workplace, then you have to compete to rise and shine, and that's quite difficult, as we've seen. When we are in high school and when we are taking our board exams, it's we all expect the same question paper, and we expect the same rules for marking us. Similarly, at the workplace, we expect the same sort of trajectory at the workplace, right? Similar rules for the game. But what happens is that women then, get into a stage where they have kids, and then we see the beginning of a leaky pipeline. Then women tend to get more involved when their kids have board exams and other academic commitments, a lot more than men get involved. It's a fact, data supports that. And then there is a leaky pipeline because there's pressure at home and at work, and so they follow. So all institutions and families, I believe that it is a partnership. We have to ensure that women continue at work in a way where there is support from their counterparts, whether it is their spouses, whether it is their family members, so that they can stay committed and they can take on a little more for them to do better. And we can perhaps prevent this leaky pipeline so that there are more women at senior positions as well, who can then perhaps encourage the women who are rising, because they've gone through the journey. And so then they can also support. And we must have also men who have been supportive members to come in and support organizations and women there, so that we maintain the balance, gender balance in the workplace. Thank you for kind of asking these important questions. We have to ask all of these questions when we're all on the same page. The young men and the women as well.